Melanie Martinez made a storybook, and I am a self-published illustrator and author, and I have been waiting to finally talk about this. First of all, I'll just say it now. I had to read this book a few, maybe like 3 times, because it's very detailed and very adult themed, and I really had to just analyze the story just to really get a hold of it. But I don't consider this a bad thing at all because it's just more of an adult book. Let me say that again. This is not a children's book. This is for adults. If you are not interested in hearing about dark themes, control, manipulation, SA, then this probably is not the video for you. See you later. Come back for another one. And if you don't really want to know about the story, then this probably isn't for you either. All right, let's get into it. So if you haven't noticed, I am a big Melanie Martinez fan, so this is extremely, extremely exciting for me. I have already reacted to her A Hades album, which I absolutely loved. I think it's such a good album. Anyways, I've got my Portals poster right here. Got my Portals t-shirt here. I've got my Crybaby pants here. And I have my K through 12 necklace choker right here. So I love her. I love her style. I love her aesthetic. And I just love all of the worlds that she creates. And as a graphic designer of 10 years and someone who just self-published, wrote, illustrated their own children's book, I was so excited to get into this, and I really wanted to read it multiple times to really give you my honest thoughts as an author, as an illustrator, designer, and a huge Melanie Martinez fan. Okay, so before we even get into the book, I really wanted to just talk about why I love Melanie Martinez so much, why I have just been her biggest fan since the very beginning, and why I just think she's such a great artist. So first of all, I found out about her from her song called Soap. I remember hearing it. I was obsessed with it. The sounds, the bass, it was just so unique and interesting, and her lyricism always just spoke to me. She literally is a poet. Her lyrics are so unique and one of a kind. Her voice is recognizable. There are artists kind of similar-ish, but I feel like I can always recognize a Melanie Martinez song. And first of all, I fell in love with her Crybaby era. I love her aesthetics. I have watched every single one of her music videos from that album, and you can tell that she cares so much about art. She cares about the detail and the story. And yes, her songs are dark, and she does discuss a lot of dark things. But in my opinion, I think she is bringing light to the darkness. She is showing us what is wrong with our society. And I think a lot of people take that in a negative way at times. But I don't look at her like a bad person. I think that she knows about all of the negative things happening, and it's just her mission to show it to us. So if you haven't heard her Crybaby album, I highly, highly recommend listening to it. I think most people would say it's one of her best albums. It's the one that really made her break out into the industry. And the world she makes is very like dark purple circus themes, very creepy. And it's fun to watch. I really enjoy that. Let's talk about her next album, because this is my number one favorite album, even more than Hades, sorry, even more than Portals, sorry. I know everyone has their own opinion, but I love K through 12 so much. I don't know why. I think maybe it was because I think it was around the time, like in 2020, where we were all locked in, and or it was a little bit after that. But I remember K through 12 just really helped me a lot. I felt extremely out of place, and her songs just hit my soul, and her lyricism was so great. But the thing that truly, truly made me fall in love with K through 12 was her movie, K through 12, which is on YouTube for free. It is an hour and a half long movie, and the movie goes through every single song in the exact same order as the CD. And this movie is extremely high budget. I think it was something like $8 million. And you can tell by the detail, it is like a Wes Anderson movie. Very high budget. The movie did very well, and it was actually shown in independent and art theaters all around America for sure. I'm not sure about Europe, but it was playing in America. I know that for sure. So the movie spoke to me as a visual person, and I'm not gonna lie, I have watched that movie probably over 20 times. And when people ask what's my favorite movie, I will say K through 12 is one of them. And that's the one movie that most people have never heard of. She is still the only artist that I know of that has actually made a full on movie with her music. And I know, yes, there are artists who have made 30-minute long music videos with like 5 songs. I know Miley Cyrus, Tove Lo. There are artists have done it, but Melanie Martinez made an hour and a half high budget actual movie with a full on story. And that's just so impressive. I'm so excited for the next movie. Apparently, she's going to have a next movie for this Hades album. Please, please let us get this movie. For some reason, every time I watched K through 12, I always felt less lonely. And it was around this time that her album came out that I was solo traveling a lot. I remember being alone in Amsterdam. I was enjoying myself, but I remember just feeling so alone, so out of place. What am I doing here by myself? Just like feeling sad in bed. And I would just put on the Melanie Martinez K through 12 movie, and I would feel better. I would feel understood. I felt like I was not alone. So it's just such a great movie. And during this time, I was not a student. I was not in kindergarten through 12th grade. You know, I was an adult. I already finished college. But I really loved all of the deeper hidden meanings behind this album. And I feel like this album could actually relate to anyone because she goes over topics such as men in power, women who have body issues, how messed up the government is, feeling trapped in the system, feeling controlled by the government, and feeling like you have to just play this character and use this fake script that is not who you really are. She also talks about the downsides of being a celebrity and how you are not really treated as a human when you're famous, just all sorts of things. So this K through 12 to me is one of her best albums, I think. And I personally love the branding and the mood board and the entire vibe of this era. It was very pink pastel schoolgirl, and I love just that. I love pink. I love to wear schoolgirl dresses. I've always loved wearing skirts and stuff, so I feel like the era fit what I personally loved, and I I really felt connected to her lyrics. Okay, I'm going to quickly talk about her next shorter album, which was called After School. And the way I look at it, it's like the album for the A plus student who stays after class to just learn a little extra more. Because this album, I would say, there's not that many songs. She only came out with one music video for this album, but the lyrics are, they're very spiritual and esoteric, and I feel like she is such a wise woman. I mean, I feel like she's like connected to multiple galaxies and pulling this information. And like her lyrics on After School to me are very interesting and special. And they really spoke to me. And it would always make me feel better when I felt like I was trapped in this world that I didn't want to be in. For her next album, Portals, and this is the one right before Hades, this was another completely different world. I actually think this is her most interesting world because the entire theme and branding and aesthetic of it is like living in a forest fairy, green, nature, and she is a four-eyed pink fur color, fully furred. She's a pink furry, like four-eyed animal with interesting elf-like ears. And I just thought it was super creative, very out of the box. I've never seen an artist do this. It was a whole nother world. It's like going into another portal. And I remember hearing in her interviews, she mentioned Portals is about what happens after you die, or the feeling of entering a new portal, which is why the album starts with her saying, life is death, is life is death. And she ends the entire album with life is death, because we are always reborn. We are always moving through new portals, whether we actually die, whether we become reborn through some experience. I really liked the theme behind it. It felt very otherworldly, I would say. All right, I'm just going to talk about Hades now. So for Hades, this is apparently a 2-album theme. And the first album, which already came out, is all around living in a dystopian future. So what that means is like a future with control, oppression. It's unfair. It's just really messed up the system, and it's kind of like a bleak, dark view of the future. What she said was actually, I already see this happening now. This dystopian future that I was supposed to write about is actually happening right now. All of these crazy, scary, negative themes are going on today. She discusses a lot of themes around all of the garbage around social media, the control that people will have, like by trying to convince them to join a cult, even if they won't say it. There are so many cults that just brainwash people into thinking a certain way. She discusses how the famous, popular it girls lose their innocence yet gain lots of money. She also talks about how corrupt religious systems are and how much of the manipulation that they have and the things that they try to hide under the covers, the things that they do. She talks about also how people just get thrown away like garbage. They just get kicked to the curb because they don't have enough money or because they're homeless. And every single song truly relates to today. And I really think that this album is so, so good because every single song I was feeling like this is happening now. We are seeing this now. We are seeing homeless people trying to just live their life, getting kicked out, getting their stuff thrown out and getting arrested. And it's it is scary. And the album is dark, but it's true. You know what I mean? So I realize that there's a lot of negative things, and it's sometimes it is kind of hard to listen to, but I do think it's very listenable. I love this album a lot. I think it's extremely well done and well thought out. In my opinion, every song from the Hades album is a real problem that we as a society need to fix somehow. And listening to the album makes me think about it. What can we do to stop this, to stop the way the world is moving? So I actually did a lot of research on the albums and the Hades box opening. And one thing that I found interesting, she has a bunch of text when you open the box, and she discusses how she wanted to make a story that would discuss a dystopian future, but realized it is what we are actually living right now. And she talked about a book that she read, which inspired this album, called Parable of the Sorrow by Octavia E. Butler, which is set in California around 2020. And this book was written in 1993. So it's a very, very negative view of the future and what could happen. So far, what I've read in this book is the gap between the rich and poor is so divided. There are just endless amounts of people who are homeless, hungry, on the streets, naked, raping, killing, stealing. And there's a girl who has a sickness or a disease called hyperempathy, and she can pretty much feel all of the emotions heavily of all of the people around her. It's like being an empathetic person pretty much. So it's hard for her to be around all these people who are homeless on the streets, dead inside. And she's not rich herself, they live in a home with no power. They're just, struggling to make it to the next day kind of thing. It's pretty bleak, but I can see the connection of what she got from the book. So I'm still reading it right now. I think it's very entertaining and a good book to read, but I did find that fascinating. All right, now we're going to actually finally get into the book. So the book is, I guess, the Hades book, and it is fully written by Melanie Martinez. The illustrator is called Kim Young-ju and designed by Virgilio Tija. I probably said that wrong. I looked them both up. Virgilio apparently has worked on past albums. He really helps out with the album covers and layouts of things. And Kim is just an exceptional illustrator. And I looked at his website, and you can absolutely see the connection. He has his own unique style, but he really took Melanie Martinez's vibe and story and created something amazing with this book. So I did not get the physical book because I'm currently in Portugal and I'm planning on moving to another country this year. So I actually have to give stuff away. I do plan on buying the set once I'm in a spot and settled in. But I did look at a lot of videos of people unboxing, and this book it's kind of not really a book. It's like to me, it's like the CD booklet that contains lyrics of an album. The booklet is kind of just the side thing. But the book is just so good. It's well written and it's very interesting. When I first read it, I genuinely felt my heart drop. It was like this really dark emotion, but I could feel the lesson in me. Be who you are, do not let the world take you. And this is exactly what I constantly say in good storytelling. Make the person feel something. Because that's pretty much what my book did. It made people feel something. They got emotional, they cried. This book 100% made me feel something. I would definitely love to see this book in a hardcover with real actual paper. And it is a book I would purchase and have on my shelf for years and years to come. So now we'll just get into the story because this is such an interesting story and super creepy and dark. So the book is about a girl named Circle, and she lives in this small commune with a bunch of people, like artists, and they just pretty much live in the forest. She is a weird girl and she does weird things, like she puts her menstrual blood on her cheeks and she will stitch a frog's head to a bird's body. And that's just who she is. She's a weirdo, just like Melanie Martinez. Anyways, her mom is about to die and she's trying to save her mother. And her mother tells her, you need to sing for the world. You need to heal the world through your singing. Once her mom finally passes away, she takes Potty, who I'm guessing is her dad, Potty, or anyways, he raised her, but he's such a jerk. He's an ass. He's an asshole. She takes his light box, which is basically the phone, and she makes a video and says, please, my mom just passed away. Please allow me to share my music to heal the world. And she presses upload, like, she's sending it to social media or something. The very next day, she just becomes a pop star and everyone is ready to see her. And she's now going to become famous, get into the machine. And she wakes up in a hospital room. It's very creepy. And she sees a woman who kind of looks like her mother, but is not. She's clearly a robot. She doesn't have the warmness and kindness of her mother. She basically has no soul. And she just seems too perfect in a sense. This character's name is Elowen. And then a man comes up, he's in a suit, and he tells her, I'm Lyle, and we're going to help you become a pop star. So they just begin kind of just treating her like a doll. She goes to fan meetings and they disrespect her, they lick her face, they run up to her telling her that they worship her, and she feels so uncomfortable and no one regards her emotions or how this is feeling. She's basically a product in a sense. And even while the man is licking her face, Elowen just says something like, oh, you should see what the AI bot girls let them do. Kind of making it sound like all these other machine bots will just fuck them or some weird sexual thing like that. That's like what I think everyone is thinking when they're reading that. The reason why they like Circle so much is because she, in a sense, still has this purity in her. She doesn't know the darkness of the world yet. And that's what makes her so attractive. All the other stars are manipulated and they only care about fame. They don't care about showing their true soul. And Circle wants to make music from her heart and use that to heal the world. And as the story goes along, she just hates it more and more. She's just forced into doing things. She has to meet these terrible men, and she begins scratching her arm until it bleeds and notices there's a bit of black ink. And when she wipes it off, there's blood. So she's part robot or part machine. Anyways, it's black goo. And yeah, so she's got this, there's something in her. She is not her true human form, or injected her with like a virus, I guess. She begins to see a competitor named Mandy Love. In my opinion, Mandy Love just represents all of the other fake stars who will literally just do anything to be famous. They don't care about who they have to have sex with or what they have to say or how they have to dress. And Circle can feel this feeling of jealousy, envy, or I could never be her, like I'll never reach her standards type of feeling inside. And I have to make an observation around this because I know that this is happening in the real world, and I know this is happening with many artists, but the one that truly resonates with me would be Katseye. And I watched the Netflix documentary, The Making of Katseye, which was 2 years long. They got, I think it was 100 girls, and they kept lowering it down. They did some messed up shit. They made every single girl on camera say who they think is the weakest and why. And they told them, we're not going to tell anyone. And then they show every single video of who the girl thinks is the weakest or who shouldn't move forward to every single girl, which is such a form of betrayal. It's like the show is putting all of these girls against each other, and they're trying to create a group. They're trying to be this strong girl group, and the entire system of it is making them pitted against each other. They have no idea who they're going to be with. They just keep lowering it down and kicking people off. And I don't even think they kept people on for their talents. They kept them on for their likability. They began to have voting where people can vote on social media of who they think is the best. In my opinion, Adele, who is now an incredibly well-known pop star who's extremely talented, kind, caring, she went out of her way to teach these girls how to dance, how to be their best. They kicked Adele off because people didn't like her. So it was like a popularity contest. It was this feeling of constantly feeling competitive with everyone around you. In my opinion, I do not think Katseye will last long term. I think the main girls are very, very talented, but they literally sing about eating zucchini. What is timeless about that? They sing about putting their pinkies up. Like, it's just shitty music with no soul. They have no control over what they sing, how they dance, how they dress, how they act. They are put into this machine. They are forced to act a certain way. And look, one of the main girls of Katseye, she was like the face of Katseye, left. Manon. She left and no one said anything. It was very quiet, but how could you not miss that one of the main faces of Katseye is already gone? Like, it's a real world example of what the Hades book is about. Control and forcing women to look a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way. They cannot use their own voices. And these girls in Katseye, they're very talented. I like them all. I like Megan. She's from Hawaii like me. She's Hapa, half Asian, half white. I like the girls, and I think they're all talented. They have their own unique talents. One of them's really good at singing. One is great at songwriting. But the system does not allow them to use their talents. They do not care if they want to write music. They must do exactly as they say. And it is just a really great real world comparison. If you're interested, I would recommend watching it, the Katseye documentary, because it is very controlling and just corrupt. I am truly wishing the best for them. I do think they could continue and become successful, but I think that they need more creative control. I feel like these girls need to express themselves as artists. They need to fight back and be like, hey, I want to write my own music. Or I could see them all just becoming their own individual artists, kind of like Blackpink. They're pretty much famous enough at this point, but I really do wish them well. And I just wanted to mention it because it just feels so related to the whole Hades storybooks. So throughout the story, Circle is pretty much just a toy or she is an ad. You know, she's not a human being. You know, they do a photo shoot saying that they're going to pretend brand her with an iron, and they actually did burn her skin. And Elowen is just like, yeah, we got the shot. Great. Perfect. And they're like, yes, you're going to be treated like a god. But they don't care how she feels or anything. They don't allow Circle to make her own music. They end up just choosing the songs for her. They're like, we got it. In fact, we got a sponsor from Taffy, which, you know, represents whatever big brand that they want to put their name on it and just have full control over her and what she says and things. So Circle finds herself in ads doing things that she has never done because of AI. She sees herself in VR doing crazy sexual things that she never did. And she feels just so uncomfortable. And Elowen just tells her, that's just how the business works. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Hanford scene. This is, to me, the darkest, most cringy scene. And for me, this scene just was the icky moment. It was gross. Anyways, so this scene, you know, she needs to meet the head of the Bammies, which is the Grammys. Hello. That one was kind of obvious, naming it the Bammies. But yeah, so she meets these people named the Hanfords, and they're just douchey assholes who look at her like an object, like a piece of meat. All they do is brag. They're like, yeah, we have total control. We decide who gets in. It's our decision. And then, you know, one of the guys just takes her into the back room, essays her, and you see her on top of him. Okay, that's it. And he just tells her to do gross things. He's like, put your hands down my throat. And you see her actually putting her hand down his throat. She begins to hallucinate. And in my mind, I think that she was drugged or she just drank too much alcohol. I think she was drugged. And this is also a very common thing that happens in the world today. I've definitely seen it. Like one example I could think of is when I watched the Diddy documentary and how messed up he was drugging people and essaying them. Back to the Circle story. So she put her hand down his throat and she hallucinates and she sees the Bammy in there. So she tries to grab it thinking, oh, there it is. And she goes deep and he just pushes her off. He's like, what the hell are you doing, crazy woman? And she just feels terrible, violated, shameful. She runs out of the house and runs to the car that took him there and slams the door, and she's like, I need to get out of here. She takes her light box, her phone, makes a video, and before she makes a video, she actually sees a message from Mandy Love, and Mandy Love is like, I just got assaulted. I am a real human. I can't believe this happened. So she sees that. And then Circle makes a video. Circle is like, I just got assaulted. Please help me. Please, someone. I don't know what to do. And then she presses upload and then just goes home. All right, so after that scene, she's in her room, she's feeling violated, sad. She doesn't know what happened. She grabs her light box, which is her phone, and she reads comments, and everyone is like, "You're such a liar. You copied Mandy Love. You're taking her light, like you're just doing what she just did. You can't do that." And then she gets a message from this crazy fan called Nina, like, "What are you doing?" And then she just blocks the fan. She just lays in bed and starts crying. She feels like shit. Anyway, she hears Elowen and Lyle in the hallway. They think she's asleep, so they just talk about whatever without even realizing she is awake. And they mention Poddy, which was her, I guess, terrible, mean dad. So she follows them down a hall. She hides in this coat rack of human suits. And they keep talking. She can't really hear them. After they leave, she looks around the room. She sees an area a folder that says archive. And in that folder, it says that Poddy likes to just raise humans like livestock and take their souls from them. Kind of like cattle, I guess. Super creepy. This was the moment that was like, this was the shock moment of the book, I think. Like, how every book has a moment? This is definitely the what? Anyways, she then sees her face, a picture of her, and it says the sacrifice. So the plan is to make Circle so messed up, so mentally ill, and she does something so crazy that it forces human artists to become banned. The goal is to ban human artists, humans making art, and just have AI do it because it is safer. That is the goal. And Circle is freaking out. She's like, "What the? I'm gonna be this experiment. They're gonna just kill me off or something like that." She doesn't know what to do, and she just gets pulled out. I guess she's on a harness or something. She gets pulled out in front of the crowd. The crowd doesn't really care about her. They don't know her. They don't know who she is as a person. She goes out, they lift their phones up, dead in the face, just camera lights, that's all she sees. And I guess she's becomes pregnant on the stage and gives birth to like a robot baby type of thing. And she's pissed now. She's like, "Fuck this. I'm done." And she just starts fighting. She doesn't give a shit. She just wants to kill her. Actually, I forgot to mention, she after she found this out, she did kill Elowen and Lyle. She saw Elowen and she just stabbed her, and she's just a robot. Obviously, she wasn't even human the whole time. She kills Lyle, fuck him kind of thing. She did see Poddy. Poddy came in and he was like, I want to see my human that I created, my livestock, my piece of art. He thinks of her like an item, pretty much. And then she tries to stab him, and he does not die. He just laughs at her. He's like, "You thought you could kill me? I already got upgraded. You can't kill me." So she runs out. And this is the part where she's on the stage. And yeah, she's just she's just trying to kill everyone. That's it. Like, it's crazy. And, you know, there's way more people than her, so she gets killed. They're ripping her arms, and, you know, she's just destroyed, and there's a pool of blood. And then the next thing that happens is her toady, which is the frog that she stitched in the very beginning and tried to give to her mother, comes and touches her blood and then flies away. So in a sense, well, not in a sense, Circle actually becomes Toady. She lives through Toady as an animal, but nobody knows this. And the book pretty much ends with basically like a new girl. There's a new girl to control. You could see it already starting again. The next person to make a pop star and destroy her. And the story ends with humans being banned and choosing to use AI instead of human artists. They only use Circle's name as a cuss word for negativity. And that is the end of the book. Very, very, very dark, super dark. Gosh, it makes me think of so many things, like the movie Perfect Blue, which is a very, very dark anime about this girl being a pop star and being stalked and pretty much losing her mind. Also similar to Black Swan with Natalie Portman. She has an eating disorder. She's a professional ballet dancer, also losing her mind. It's so true, though, especially in the music industry or in the movie and acting industry. These men in power think that they can just do whatever they want to women like a product. And it's so fucked up. So what are the themes? I think we can all kind of connect all of these themes, but I think the biggest one is around, you know, the pop star and the control, but also the fear around AI, because AI is growing so much. Is it going to take over humans? It's already taking jobs. It's taking personal assistant jobs. It's doing a lot of data work. I've rode in a driverless car in San Francisco. Like, there are so many jobs that can easily be taken now by AI. So it's a very big topic that everyone is thinking about today. The theme around Mandy Love and replacing authentic artists with AI is another huge thing. It also makes me think about competition and jealousy. I think she also just represents when we see someone more successful than us, we feel these negative feelings about ourselves, envy. I'll never be like them. And it's something that we all deal with. Overall, I do feel like the theme is around this pressure to be the version of yourself that the algorithm wants, which is hard because we are human. We make mistakes. We need to slow down. We need to zone out. We need to eat ice cream. We need to party, and we need a drink once in a while. But I think we all feel this. I really love how she ended the book because she really just stressed, don't let the world take who you are. Be your true, most authentic self. And I could feel it. Like, at the end, I was like, lesson learned. I'm going to be me. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm going to be my most authentic self. I am not going to let the world control me or put me into a box that I don't need to be put into. So even though this book is very dark themes, very negative, not much good happens, it's a lesson. It is a lesson that will stick with me. This is a book that I will read again and again. It's a book that when I first read it, I felt it to my bones, to my core, and it is a very good story. What do I think that Melanie Martinez actually made a storybook with her latest album? I think it's a really great thing. I've never seen any artist release a little storybook with any of their albums before. Let me know if you have. I think people are looking for more human made work, and this is clearly hand drawn. This is a human written story. It gives me hope. I do think there are people who want to break away from that system, who want to just make art for themselves. And it's very important. I actually made a self-publish your first book series if you're interested, which I will link below. And this is all of the ways that you can learn how to self-publish your own book yourself, because I did it myself. So I can just link that below if you're interested. It's basically what I would have wanted to know if I was going to self-publish a book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Ingram Spark type of thing. I do think we need more artists. We need more indie artists. We need more people sharing their own unique voice, their own story. And it does make me happy to see a very big artist do this. I think people would also think of Melanie Martinez as an indie artist. She has a small but loyal fan base. But when I saw her on the Billboard 200, that was the first time I saw her name there. Maybe she was on there in the past. I don't know. She could have been on there for Crybaby, I think, because that album was really big. But it was cool to see her album on the Billboard Top 200, at least the first week that it came out. That gave me a lot of hope. She is authentic with her music. She is so authentic with who she is as an artist. I've watched many interviews from her, and I think that growing up for her was difficult because she always felt like an outcast. She always felt like a freak. I think she would give off this energy that would make people want to bully her. But as she gets older, she continues to own her weirdness, to use it as a power. And I think that she is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger as an artist. I think she's going to make even better music. I always truly anticipate every album that she releases. Lastly, I just have to talk about the marketing of this entire era of the Hades. First of all, if you have not seen, she released a short YouTube clip, and it was about 2.5 minutes long, and it was all just stop motion, like clay animals, real things, and it was showing the titles of each song, and it would move into a different world that completely represented the theme of every single song. And she designed it so that this video is perfectly looped very back to the beginning, and it just loops again and again. It was amazing, beautiful, human-made art. I love seeing real items or hand-drawn things. So I had to watch it multiple times because it was just so well done. You can tell she loves human-made art. I can see it. I love her photography that she chose to market the album. I think it's just so editorial and unique. Lastly, I have to talk about her announcement video for the Sacrifice tour. And it really got me thinking. The book that she wrote is 100% connected to her performance. First of all, she's always performing in black goo, which is referenced throughout the entire book. This girl has black goo inside of her. She has evil all over her, and Melanie Martinez is performing in black goo. She is throwing it on herself in her bedroom. Also, on the marketing announcement video, it says the Sacrifice Tour starring Circle. And the video literally shows her as a normal girl with black hair answering a phone, and then machines grabbing her, making her hair pink, and then throwing a microphone at her while she screams her head off. This is Circle. She is playing Circle while she is on stage. And I'm just going to make some predictions because I like to do that. I like to follow all of her little things that she leaves behind that we're supposed to connect. So I'm going to say, I know the second album is about a dystopian future, which is more positive and perfect, but it almost seems too perfect type of thing, like too good to be true. So I'm going to assume that Circle, who now lives in Toady, is going to find the new pop star it girl who was Circle, and she's going to warn her ahead of time. And my hope is this new girl can stop the system, sneakishly break through, and that can kind of be the entrance to her new album, which is around a dystopian future. We'll see how that goes. Melanie Martinez is so unpredictable, so I have absolutely no idea what the next album is going to be. She's so good at surprising me, which is why I kind of like to predict things, because I'm usually wrong, which I'm okay with. And it's just, yeah, it's a good album. It's a good book. I highly recommend reading the book. And I'll just give a quick rating on this the Hades storybook. So as an illustrator, I would probably give this book an 8 out of 10. I think the art is good, and it really, really perfectly matches the story very well. As an author, I would rate this book, I think I would rate it more of a 6 out of 10. I don't think the writing is that great. I think it was a little confusing, and I know why she did this. It's because she's trying to rhyme, and the story is so unique. So she would use interesting words and explain them in different ways just so that it could rhyme. And I think that could have been tweaked a little better, in my opinion. As a fan, how would I rate this book? I guess I would give it a 7. I do wish it was a little more happy, like just a little. It's so depressing. I guess there is a bit of hope because she lives on in Toady, but it is pretty dark, which I didn't like. I still like the book, and I think it is strong and gives a message, and I can truly feel it, and I don't think I'm going to forget this story ever. So that she kind of made her mark in that sense. But overall, I still love the book. I love Melanie Martinez, and I'm so freaking excited to see what else she does. I hope she has more symbolisms or more secret things that she does during her performances to connect back to her storybook. I'm ready to find all those Easter eggs. And just let me know, what do you think Circle's story is about? The industry, AI, what predictions do you have? I'm so curious. Please let me know in the comments below. I am excited to read them. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that this inspires you to read her book. It's really good.